What do you think is the number one fear or obstacle that people have before they have to overcome before to take the plunge?
That people aren't going to like their book. Your book is your baby. You've been working on this so long, and it's hard to hear anything negative about your book. But what people have to realize is you're not going to please everybody. It's not everybody's taste to read middle grade softball books. So some people are not going to like it. Some people are absolutely going to love it. And you just have to take the good with the bad. I have listened to a lot of different interviews with big authors, and they say they don't even read the reviews because they don't want to know. They don't want to know what people are saying. You have to have a really good relationship with your editor. And another thing I recommend when you're getting to that point and it's time to go for editing, and everybody has to have an editor. You cannot edit your own book. I don't edit my own books. I send it out to somebody else, and somebody else edits my book. Because if you're not trained, and I am trained, but my brain will fill in the holes that are missing.
That's right. You read what you think it's there, and so yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. So when you get an editor, you have to make sure that your personalities are good and that they work together, because it's a long road to get through. And if the editor is beating you up all the time, or you feel like the editor is beating you up, that's not a good relationship to be in. You have to be where they are honest with you so that you're going to produce the best book that you can, but they've got the right touch for your personality.
Yeah, I always think I tell people like, "Oh, you wrote this?" I'm like, "The first draft." That's my response. And then a bunch of other people touched it, and those people touched it and made it better, right? So it's definitely my thoughts, but then a bunch of other people who are smarter than me in that specific thing made it a stronger piece of work. And so I think that's powerful. So do you have advice for people that are too afraid about their baby getting out there? Like, is there something that they can do, or they just got to suck it up and deal with it?
In the end, they're going to have to suck it up and deal with it if they want it published. But
I mean, that's what I would say. Like,
a great way to start is with a writer's group, getting with people that you trust. And I always recommend that you're in a writer's group. It's where you can share in progress. You can send out share a chapter. Like, everybody has one chapter that they have written in whatever genre they're writing. And then they give honest feedback. You have to give honest feedback, or it's totally useless. And then you tweak and tweak. And sometimes, so I'm in a writer's group as well. And in my group of 6 or 7 people, 3 people might say this and 2 people might say just the opposite. Well, I need to go with, pick and choose what I agree with and what I don't agree with, and then run with that, and then just let the other stuff go. So starting with writer's group is huge, getting it as clean as possible. Then you might want to send it out to beta readers. Beta readers are people that do not know you. So they don't care if they hurt your feelings or not. They're there to say, and a beta reader only really reads in their genre. And I'm a beta reader using some Facebook groups. So people will send me their stuff, and I'll look at it and go, "Oh man, this isn't even, you're not ready," But I would love to but I'm brutally honest that way, but I say it this way. But it's important for them to hear that, because it's horrible for them to have it put out on Amazon and then have it be a total flop. I mean, that's worse. When they'd rather be told up front where they have a chance to fix it.
And there's like, I don't know if Tim, you've ever heard this story, but there was a word that I used in Anomaly, and I gave it to who I would have called beta users, but really it sounds like that was more of this group of individuals, because I gave early copies to people and said, "Hey, read this." And so I used the word glass ceiling in something in my book, and someone who read it said, "Hey, I understand what you're saying in this, but I don't know that the average user will. I recommend you use this different word." And I was very, her name was Lavinia. I was very thankful for her with that, Lavinia Haskins. And I think that's her last name. And I was very thankful for her to tell me that, because I just wrote what I understood that word to mean in that kind of very specific setting. And she's like, "Yeah, but as a white male, people are going to look at you differently in that." And so I was talking about like how like I was hitting like a glass ceiling or something like that. And I was very thankful for that because I would have just published it and been there. And so she said, hey, here's this word. I understand what you're saying because I know you, but I think the average user won't. Here's a couple of words that I think that you can use instead or describe the story differently. And look, it probably helped me not have to, go on CNN and have to talk it through with people.
There's a whole different, there are a bunch of different kind of editors, just like there are a bunch of different types of publishers. And there's one called a sensitivity editor.
Oh, okay.
And that's the kind of stuff that they specifically look for. And if you're a white man writing about something in the Black world, you would have African-American readers read it to make sure you're not saying something wrong that's going to make people mad.
Got it. Well, in my case, I wasn't doing that, but I've never heard of the sensitivity editor.
Yep.
That's really interesting. It's very strong, powerful. And I think more people should do that just so that they make sure that. And
that goes with if you have a handicapped character.
Sure.
Yeah.
Anything like that.
I mean, even something as like not silly, but as to me, I just wrote it because that's how I saw this thing. I was like, I've hit the glass ceiling in the workforce. I was over it, and I guess other people, from a sensitivity standpoint, would read that differently. And I think that can be more powerful. And I think more people need to at least think about addressing those type of things, whether or not they do it or not. That's up to them. But I definitely think it's powerful to have different diversities of people look at that. And I know when I gave out my book, I gave it to like every single diversity possible that I thought could have been reading it because I wanted that type of feedback. And so I'm fine. Like when Chris gave me the first real edit back of the book, it was just 120 pages of red ink. And I was like, thank you, buddy. I appreciate that.
Well, at least you had somebody that could give you some good, solid feedback, which is always important.
I mean, that's what you pay people for, right? That's what you have this for. Like they make it better, right? I mean, it's a team, right? Writing a book is never just about one person. It's about a bunch of people. And I'm a big believer in teams. I'm a big believer that even if you are a solo founder of a business, you still have a plethora of people on your team, and you should look at it like that because there's a lot of people that are going to bat for you. Maybe not every day in the same specifics that you are, but there's a bunch of people that want to see you grow. And I think you have to look at it. Most things in life are surrounded by teams, and the people who don't grasp that concept, I think, are the ones who fail miserably.
I have a networking group, the Williamsburg Business Network, that we get together, and we were just talking about it this morning. We're small, and as a matter of fact, we're going to talk to Startwheel, but we're a group that is more about accountability and helping each other than just networking. It's not just passing leads like a BNI. It is truly about, Dawn, you said you were going to do this many things this week. Did you do that? And somebody that you can bounce ideas off of. And you're right, Zach, it is so important to have a team that can help you with those things.
Yep.
Dawn, you said you were going to drink 1 glass of wine tonight. Did you do it?
Only 1 glass of wine.
That's a big glass. We can't see the depth of that wine behind you, but it does look like it's a 2-glass bottle.
Still.
Heavy pour.
Is there anything we haven't talked about that you want to talk about, Dawn?
I think we've hit on a lot of different things. I would love to talk to anybody that is interested in getting their book out, getting their story, whether it's nonfiction or fiction. I don't do poetry very much, but I do know people that do poetry. So I will pass people on to the right place for those kind of things. But no matter what stage you're in, if you want to check out the Road to Publishing, this will help you figure stuff out. I also have an interview linked to the top of my website where I go into a lot more detail about the book. So they can see what I'm like watching this video a couple different times if they need to take notes. And then feel free to reach out to me. I'm very easy to get a hold of.
Sweet. Go to head to bluedragonpublishing.com to do all of those things. Tim, thoughts?
I appreciate your time, Dawn. A lot of insight shared. You make me feel the pressure that I need to join the author club.
I think you should consider that.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have notes somewhere.
I do. I have lots of notes.
Hey, if you wait long enough, Tim, someone will be able to extrapolate the things that you think on your runs and turn that
Oh,
into a book.
I've solved a lot of the world's problems on my runs.
Just
Now
wait,
just
3
share.
more years.
Just share.
Just share. Dawn, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for being with us today. Tim, always good to see you, and we will see you guys on the next show. Until then, peace and pancakes. Pumpkin spice pancakes.